And we are live. What's going on? It's Chris and Emily from Lifter LMS, and you know what day it is? It's Feature Friday, now on Tuesday. Today's Feature Friday is going to be a little different. We're going to talk about a feature of Lifter LMS that is not a piece of software. It's actually a human feature of Lifter LMS, which is tech support. We're going to go over the differences between what is Lifter LMS tech support versus custom development. The first thing you should know is that at Lifter LMS, we are here to help. We have lots of ways to support you with your learning management system website. We have the tech support team that customers get access to. We have communities on Facebook and Slack. We do our live Ask Me Anything calls available to anybody weekly. And then we also do the Office Hours Mastermind group Zoom call weekly as well. We have tons of content and documentation too. There's literally all kinds of ways that we support you. But today, Emily and I are going to discuss the differences between tech support versus custom development. And custom development is something where you would need to work with an outside agency or freelancer, service professional to basically build the site for you or add new features or customize it to your unique requirements. But let's start off with a base question, Emily. What is tech support?
Yeah, so at Lifter LMS, tech support is something you can find on our website at lifterlms.com. So when you are working on your WordPress website, you have a question about how to use Lifter LMS, maybe we can point you to some documentation, or maybe you find a bug in the product and you want to ask, is this a bug, or is this something I'm doing wrong? In my user scenario, you can find our support at lifterlms.com, log into your account, you can submit a tech support ticket. This is the best way to get in touch with our team. So if you want our team to log into the back end of your website and check out what's going on, I usually recommend creating a staging site, which is a copy of your live website. We have another video about what a staging site is and how to create one, but you can provide them a copy of the website if you want them to deactivate things or mess with settings and stuff like that. But if you just want someone to log into your website, take a look and see if maybe something is configured weirdly or something like that, we can accept passwords in a secure way as a part of this tech support process. We have this ticket system. We need clear recreation steps to see what kind of an issue you're running into, or a screenshot or a video just to point us in the right direction, because we're not following along with your website build as close as you are. So if you can give us clear instructions about how to see what you're seeing, give us files, attachments, and a system report. A system report is something you'll find under Lifter LMS status. And then we should have right here, copy for support. It just tells us all the versions of everything you're on, whether you have the WordPress debug turned on, and a bunch of other information about your website and what plugins you have active in case that rings. Any alarm bells top of mind for our support team. So giving them a system report of what your website is like, the challenge or issue you're running into, and some screenshots, stuff like that, really points us in the right direction really quickly as to what you're running into. And so that's what the tech support interaction looks like. If you get stuck, let us know kind of exactly where you're at in the process, what tools you're working with on your website, and we can help kind of get you unstuck with some documentation or maybe some advice. That's tech support.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the great explanation there. And that's one of the things that you're paying for when you become a Lifter LMS software customer. You're paying for tech support. The company Lifter LMS pays for people to help assist you, to have those conversations, to log into your website, and so on. And just some pro tips when you submit a tech support question. First of all, it's completely fine to ask for a lot of help, especially in the beginning. When people are first getting started, they have a lot of questions. They don't know what's in all the drawers and all the features everywhere, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. But the Lifter LMS team is standing by to help you. If you go, maybe you can pull it up while I'm talking to Emily, to the Lifter LMS knowledge base. I just want to show you, if you could demo when you have a second, the search box, which not only pulls from our documentation, it pulls from our blog posts, our podcast episodes, webinars we've done on different topics. It's actually powered by Google, and it's trained on all of the Lifter LMS materials. So you can, if you do the groups plugin or e-commerce, you can see it's going to pull up all kinds of information from products we have to, podcasts and actual documents. And at the top of this, there is a filter where if you just want the knowledge base articles, the help docs, that's just going to give you only the help documentation. So you can kind of filter it and find what you're looking for. So you can contact tech support anytime you want, but I definitely recommend checking out all the resources we have here. And sometimes, our products touch on other products. So if you do a search there for Lifter LMS WooCommerce, even though we don't make WooCommerce at Lifter LMS, we integrate with it. We integrate with WooCommerce subscriptions. So we have documentation to help you about the intersection of all of those things. And even if you have a question kind of related to WooCommerce subscription as it relates to your Lifter courses or memberships, we're of course still going to help you. You may have some other plugins on your site that you have questions about, and that's where you start to get outside of the scope of, well, if it's not Lifter and Lifter LMS doesn't integrate with it, you really should be reaching out to that company's tech support team. So just some pro tips there, but it is okay to send Lifter LMS tech support questions. I do recommend, if you can, try to do one question at a time. So if you have like several unrelated questions, submit 3 different tickets. And that way, as the thread builds, if there's back and forth conversation, we're not trying to diagnose like 10 different questions at once in one ticket with all these side questions. So it's okay to, submit tickets. Any other pro tips about tech support, Emily, before we transition to custom development?
I really like to emphasize recreation steps. That might not be something that most people are familiar with. If you're not in the custom coding or WordPress ecosystem all the time, recreation steps are like step 1, go to my homepage. Step 2, go to the WordPress admin. Step 3, click on Lifter LMS settings. Step 4, click on checkout. Step 5, click on Stripe. It's like a step-by-step exactly what to click on. And just being as specific as possible there will help point us in the right direction of visualizing exactly where you're at, because each LMS site is formatted pretty differently. And so if you're specifying like this issue only happens when you complete a quiz with a passing percentage of less than 50%, it would be nice to be like, okay, so step 1, start this quiz. Step 2, pass the quiz with less than 50%. Step 3, look at the results and see that there's some confusion I have with this quiz results clarification feature, stuff like that. So just be super specific with those recreation steps.
And you can say a lot with pictures, like a screenshot with an arrow, record a screen share video, and even provide a URL. If there's a public thing we can look at on the internet, like provide the URL of like where exactly you're seeing this challenge you're having. Yeah. So Lifter LMS does not offer custom development, which is where somebody adds features to your site or builds your whole website for you. How do you define custom development, Emily?
Yeah, I define custom development as definitely anything that involves code. So if you're dealing with CSS, if you're dealing with like a custom PHP snippet, I define custom development even as like custom settings that are configured within maybe a third-party product you're using. If you're using like an Elementor template to control your lesson views or something like that, or you're using bricks to override what your student dashboard looks like, we've kind of entered the land where you've developed your website beyond what Lifter LMS is thinking it's going to be doing out of the box. Now, obviously, we have a lot of users who venture into that territory because Lifter LMS can integrate with a lot of these tools, and a lot of our users do integrate with page builders and things like that, and a lot of our users work with custom code. But it's almost like a modification to what the system might expect that it is going to be doing. You can throw Lifter LMS on a website out of the box with a Skypilot theme and have a perfectly functional LMS website. But then if you're trying to override that student dashboard, if you're building a template to apply to lessons, or you're writing a PHP snippet or custom CSS to modify the visuals or functionality of your website, you've now entered custom development land, in my mind.
Yeah. And if you're not sure, just ask the Lifter LMS tech support team, and they'll let you know if something is starting to get outside of the scope of tech support and into the land of custom development. And we also have a list on our website at lifterlms.com/experts of like 40 or 50 people and agencies that are available for these types of services. Because there's a lot of people all over the world that do custom development or work with WordPress or build websites, but we've curated a list of some of the best folks that are very familiar with Lifter LMS and WordPress and the tools that Lifter LMS users commonly use. So you can find that at lifterlms.com/experts. And in terms of like customer expectations, when you contact Lifter LMS tech support, it's good to, have reasonable expectations. Like, for example, Lifter LMS responds in 1 to 2 business days. So if you submit a ticket on Friday night, you're not going to hear back until likely Monday sometime. You're going to get a response. So we are timely in our response. Often it's faster than that, but we kind of put that, goal out there of like, nobody ever needs to wait more than 2 business days to hear back from us. But we do a lot of tech support and get a lot of inquiries. So we appreciate your patience. And also we're going to think of it like a conversation. You can send a question and try to form that question as best you can. Like Emily mentioned with the recreation steps, maybe some screenshots. The more you put into the question, the more likely we're going to be able to solve it in one reply. But sometimes we may need more information at Lifter LMS, and we're going to have some back and forth to get to the resolution that we're looking for there. And then on the Lifter LMS side, like our expectation is, one, we want you to reach out to us. We're here to help you. So don't be shy. It's okay to reach out and ask for help. It's also important to be kind. There's real human beings that work at Lifter LMS. We treat every user and customer with respect. I know in tech support issues, sometimes it can be frustrating. Like we've all been on one of those phone trees, like press 1, press 5, on hold music for 45 minutes and stuff like that. But, the most kind and specific and detailed and patient we can be, that always results in the best outcome and all that. But I want to pass it over to you, Emily, on the topic of expectations. Is there anything either on the customer side or on the Lifter LMS side you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, I really like what you said about how you can ask the team if what you're asking is within the scope of support or whether it's custom development territory. That kind of thing is always a good question to ask, especially when most of our users that run into questions and challenges are running into questions and challenges because they're integrating with like third-party stuff. They've entered this kind of custom development territory, and we do our best to support you from wherever you're at with your website so we can get you unlocked and moved on to the next step. We do have our Lifter LMS office hours and our AMA call that you can attend and drop your questions in the chat. That's a great time to get a hold of some people live where you could type in the chat. We can talk about your issues and questions there. And that's going to be a little more high level, a little more strategy, especially if you're integrating with third-party tools. Those AMA calls and office hours calls are going to be really useful because not only can you get feedback from the Lifter LMS team, like me, Chris, and Kurt, on those live calls, in addition to the email support you might get from our wonderful tech support team. But you can also get some feedback from the community. Other community members may have said, oh, I've actually tried to do the same thing that you're doing, and this is how I got it done. Having that other community component in our Facebook group on those live calls is a good thing to do when you're in that custom development territory and you're kind of pioneering some new internet landscapes by combining Lifter LMS with other tools in development.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you actually took my curveball. This Feature Friday, we have a curveball. My curveball was going to be about what community options are available. And there's actually a lot. So Lifter has a Facebook group, a Slack community that's a little more developer focused. We have the live calls that Emily mentioned, but also there are other groups on the internet, other Facebook groups, WordPress communities, social media accounts. There's so many people surrounding the WordPress project, the online course industry, the e-learning industry. Asking for help is a super skill. And I always like to advise, ask, but try to give back too, to a community. So maybe you see somebody with a question that you know an answer to. It's good to, give back to others in that way. And also just wanted to say, don't be scared of custom development or asking for help from Lifter LMS tech support. Lifter LMS is a complex platform, infinitely customizable learning management system. So it's okay to have a lot of questions. Lifter LMS is also open source software, which means developers can custom development on top of the code. They can see all the code and add whatever feature that doesn't exist that you would like, or connect some tools together that there's not an official integration for. And sometimes those projects are not as much time and budget as you might think, and sometimes they're more, but you never know if you don't ask. So it's good to ask. Or you might find when you ask that, like, oh, this isn't custom development. There's actually this tool made by this other person that already does that. You just didn't know about it. Thanks for asking. And you can go that way. So there's a lot of helpful people at Lifter LMS and all over the internet that can help you with your project. And the beauty of open source software is truly anything is possible. Lifter does a lot out of the box. There's so much you can do out of the box. The tech support team will help you do that. And then custom development is there. There's literally no end to the creativity of what you can add if you want to extend it further. Well, that's it for this Feature Friday. Any final words, Emily, you want to throw out there?
No, I think that settles it about support versus custom development from Lifter.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming. And for you out there watching, smash the like button, tell your friends, drop a comment down below. Let us know what video you'd like for us to make for you next. Reach out to the Lifter LMS team if you have a question. We are here for you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.